Yo, what's up? What's up? For those that don't know me, my name is Rosville. That thing in the back over there, that name, Rosville. Um, Long time, lifetime wrestling fan, creator of Alliance Late Night. Just something I wanted to do to give my little 2 cents about how I view some of the product that's out there. The channel is going to focus mainly on NWA, NAWA, for those of you who don't know this, North American Wrestling Alliance, UWN, United Wrestling Network, Ashe Wrestling, and whatever else I just catch because I'm the type of wrestling fan and wrestling viewer, professional wrestling viewer. I watch a little bit of everything, uh, whether I think it's good or not. I'm going to at least give it a try, give it a few watches, see if I can pick out some of the highlights, some of the better talent that's in the lineups on the rosters. Say lineups more so because with the independents, a lot of people aren't signed. They're bouncing all around the territories, wherever that you know, whatever region it may be. So, but right now, I first want to focus on my pick. I guess I would call my top pick, not prospect, because this person is actually a champion. But I think somebody who's not quite getting enough of the spotlight right now in the NWA. And that's actually Jeremiah Plunkett. Um, at first, I did not feel this guy at all, and maybe that just was I hadn't watched enough. I hadn't seen enough. The circuits that he was on prior to me seeing him on NWA programming, no idea really. But as of late, especially since winning the Mid-America Championship and becoming that journeyman for the National Wrestling Alliance, I've come to have a great deal of respect for his work ethic and his grind. I mean, he's all over the place. I just watched a match that was streamed on NWA JCP a week or two ago. I believe it was just a week ago, and he had a bout with Crazy Steve, and I believe I came across Crazy Steve originally in TNA. Now, if I'm mixing him up with another promotion where he was at before, let me know. But I believe I saw him in TNA. Um, Thought he was a pretty solid talent, able to go in there, entertain, put on a solid match, not botching all over the place. So when I saw that they were challenging each other, I thought, this would probably be worth a watch. But when I actually sat down to watch this match, I was I wouldn't even say surprised. It was a pleasure to see somebody who's not getting the spotlight as much as I think they should in the NWA and grabbing that spotlight and highlighting themselves. Just like if you see Jeremiah Plunkett on his Facebook, which is where I follow him the most, on his Facebook channel, he's cutting his own promos on his own time, wherever he can cut those promos. In between matches, in the car, in the go, in the parking lots, wherever he's at, he's cutting these promos and he's putting them, what we say in the neighborhood around my way, putting ourselves on. We're not waiting for anybody. We're not waiting for anybody to create who we are, who we already are, and who we know we are. And again, I dig his work ethic. But back to the match with NWA JCP, Joe Kazana Promotion. This match was solid all the way through. The in-ring performance did show that there was a lot of experience there. Again, not a bunch of botches all over the place, which was really pleasant for me because a lot of these matches that you see in some of the independents or territories, as we want to call them, sometimes they can get a little messy. Let's just call it how it is, right? I have to keep in mind that a lot of these promotions are doubling as schools as well. So I have to be a little bit more lenient on some of my critiquing. Um, I don't want to be a shit talker. I want to be a critiquer. I want wrestlers to be able to view my channel and go, okay, I hear what he's saying, not whatever, motherfucker. You know, I don't want that. That's not what this is about. I don't want to bash anybody. Um, these guys work hard to get to where they're at. You know, you hear the term, what do they say, couch booker, armchair booker. I don't want to be that neither. So I want to look at these matches and really review from a real world standpoint of what I know good wrestling to be. And this match between Crazy Steve and Plunkett went all out. It was a reason why it was a main event, definitely. And not to give away the match for anybody who hasn't seen it, which, by the way, if you are not hip to NWA JCP, they have their YouTube channel. Go subscribe, go back as far as you want, and get caught up. It's worth the watch. Some matches are better than others. That's just with any promotion, right? But once you go through and you watch the product, you'll understand more of what's coming down the pipeline for NWA Power and for any premium live events that Corgan is going to produce. But this finishing move that was done in this match blew my mind, and it got a huge pop from the crowd. So again, go check that out on the NWA JCP YouTube channel. Um, I have been keeping up a little bit. There's a lot of wrestling going on. As you all know, there's a lot of wrestling going on. And I don't have enough time to remember everything or go through everything every day. But I do have my uh, Facebook channel open right now. And there was something that I wanted to point out here for Jeremiah Plunkett. He has a match coming up January 9th, Fight at the Fiesta. He's going to be challenging Kobe Carter, and the NWA Mid-America Championship is on the line. Now, I'm not very familiar with Kobe Carter. Anybody who may watch this video, if you are, point out, link me to any matches that you think are good highlights for him, and I will actually go check them out. But again, this was something that Jeremiah Plunkett posted himself, cut his own promo by himself, no crew, anything, and he's solid on the mic. I believe him when he's talking. I believe that his size and his stature and what he does in the ring matches who he is. I'm sold on who he is. He is a throw a little bit to Arn Anderson to me. You know how we always say he was average size, not a body guy. Not a Vince McMahon bodybuilder, 6'11" kind of guy. But when he's in the ring, everything that he does matters. Every move matters. It makes sense. If you were really in a fight, what would you do? If you were in an amateur folk style wrestling match, what would you actually do? And he's captured that when he's in the ring. So for anybody who's not hip, again, go check out Jeremiah Plunkett. He's on Facebook. He has a page there. Again, the match is scheduled for January 9th. Let me go back and scroll out of there. Fight at the Fiesta, January 9th. It doesn't say who else is on the card at this time. And is going to be in Nashville, Tennessee at San Jose Fiesta. I guess that's the venue. Doors open at 8 p.m. Tickets are available for $10. You can't beat that. Even my local promotion, which by the way is Defy up here in Washington State, I like their product. I've been to 3 of their events. I was very pleased with the product. very pleased. But $10, not in this market. So for those of you moms and dads that have kids looking to take the kids out, maybe the bigger promotions are not coming to the area anytime soon. This is something affordable that you can take the kids out to and have a good time, meet some of the stars, the up and coming stars, before they take off. It's well worth the money, money well spent. Moving on, we have Shockwave and this tournament that's supposed to be coming up for crowning a #1 contender for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Without going too hard on Corgan, which if you read my posts, I do. I go hard on everything that I think doesn't make sense. Let me rephrase that. I go hard on everything that doesn't make sense. Any booking, any match, any tournament that doesn't make sense, I'm hard on it. Some people think I should just sit back and accept the product. But if you go to the movie theater and you take your girlfriend or your wife and you spend all that money, gas up the car, overpriced popcorn, overpriced big ass soda that you never finish, all the rest of that, right? Maybe even dinner before that. And you get to the movie theater and you watch that movie that everybody's been praising and giving all these good reviews. And you get there and that movie is whack, you have something to say. So I have something to say without disrespecting the talent, because I understand the difference between bad booking and horrible talent. But back to this tournament. I'm not feeling it already. I'm not feeling it because they're not filling in the brackets right from the beginning. There's a play-in slot. Why do we have a play-in slot when you have a full roster? I mean, I don't get it at all. Furthermore, why are we having this tournament to begin with? If you were putting on cards, wrestling bouts, where wins and losses count like they should, we already have a #1 contender. All you have to do is watch the matches, right? And are we going to bypass the national champion? I understand we want to see the national champion build that title, and I can respect that, definitely. But stepping stones, right? Why not have somebody win in a non-title match over the national champion, thus giving that person the opportunity to be the #1 contender at the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship? Isn't that how it works? Isn't that how it worked in 1985, 1986, 1987, 1988, up into the WCW NWA split? Sometimes you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? You can shine it up, you can clean the spokes up. Sometimes you change the rims, tires run out of tread, get some new ones, right? But it's still a tire. It still goes around in a circle, right? Same thing with wrestling. Same thing. I'm going to watch the matches, just like I watch the NWA all the time, regardless of how I feel the booking should have went. I still support it. I have. I have when you were charging for the episodes. I was when you were charging for the pay-per-views. Just all these different changes in the programming. Taking titles out of rotation. Titles won with nobody seeing. And now it's in the champion and no matches, no promos, no follow-ups, like the NWA Women's Television Championship. But hopefully something's going to come of that, and I'll get to that. Because Big Bad Mama, I think that's her name. That's what she's going by. just that, you know, there's no other name before, like Sonya C, the Big Bad Mama. Is this Big Bad Mama? As far as I know. If I'm wrong, anybody out there, correct me. I want to make sure I have it right. I don't know a lot about her, just like I don't know a lot about NWA Chicago. Nothing's updated. Don't hear about anything. I think they're doing matches. Something, sometime, somewhere. But this tournament, I will watch. It'll be interesting. This is one of the things I'm just going to watch play out. I can't even tell you who's in the bracket because at this point I really don't care. When you have a play-in into a tournament that doesn't have that many brackets in it, what are we doing? What are we doing? Moving on. Not quite yet. Anyway, Shockwave, January 11th. Go to nwaliveevents.com for ticket information. OC Theater in Forney, Texas. That's cool. I guess that'll lead me into something I didn't plan to talk about on here, on this particular first episode or whatever you want to call it, of me jib-jabbing about professional wrestling. The announcement of NWA Texas. The way they're going about the territories, I do like. It's been a great move, in my opinion. It's been a great move to help bolster and boost and uplift the three initials, NWA, to mean more than just three initials. It has helped a great majority of the crowd who was displeased with the product and living in the past, living in the old NWA, the classic NWA. It has helped those fans move on because now we can see a broader spectrum of talent that's on the rise, a broader view of talent that's already solid. I mean, there's a list of people who will not be in the NWA longer than a year or two from now. Guaranteed. There's some standouts there. So the territories and launching them the way that they have, it's been a great idea. I like it. A lot of people also that I speak with on a weekly basis also enjoy it and think it was a great move. Now this NWA Texas thing, I'm glad they chose Texas. It makes a lot of sense. Check the history of the NWA and its involvement in Texas. It was just a matter of time. Tim Storm, he did a lot of wrestling over there and still does. So it was just a matter of time before there was a tie-in there. We also know with whichever one of Blunt, Force Trauma, whichever one it is, him and his wife running the promotion in Texas and training, that was just a matter of time. And it makes sense. Now, here's where I'm kind of thrown a little bit, as where the other territories, for the most part, they are independent, even if they're in the same state. For example, we have Crossfire, this in Tennessee, and they are their own NWA affiliate or territory. Then you have NWA JCP, which is also in Tennessee, and it stands on its own as NWA JCP. Now, what it seems like is being done for Texas, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, comments, DM, whatever, especially for those who I speak with on a regular basis about professional wrestling, the NWA, you know who you are. Those guys who chat with me all the time over in J Cal's channel, YouTube channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that there's going to be multiple promotions in Texas, all representing NWA Texas, as opposed to one promotion under that banner. And everybody's going to say independent of each other. It'll be interesting to see how that works. I would imagine they would be taking the best of the best matches and highlighting those under the NWA Texas banner, as opposed to having one show and then another show and a third show all out of Texas. It seems like that wouldn't make much sense. Um, think of the UFL for anybody who watches football, Spring League, with the UFL before they merged to become the UFL. They were doing the hub thing out of Texas. They were doing the whole hub thing for the whole league. But in Texas, there was 3 teams, I believe. And so it made a lot of sense to do that hub to cut down the expenses of travel. So I can see in that aspect, I can see why they would do it this way. I don't know a lot about the promotion that Jazz and her husband are attached to. I've watched a little bit of Texas style wrestling, and recently Markova became their women's champion, which is cool. She needs some gold. She's worked hard. Maybe a lot of people don't think that highly of her in the ring because of her sexy presentation, but she's been going hard since she arrived in the NWA. And they can't tell me it's just because they're building her up. I think the trigger could have been pulled a long time ago, and many of you think the same thing. So we'll see over the next month or two how that will start to develop down there in Texas. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover at this time because I don't want to run on too long. I'm trying to keep videos. I was shooting for 20 minutes. I'm at 22 right now. I'm trying to keep the videos around about this length. I'll speak on Power. I don't want to really review it. You can go watch the Alliance blog. I'll let them do the full reviews. Those are my buddies over there. They're good at what they do. Jay Cal and the rest of everybody else, the other guys, the other Alliance guys podcast, they do a great job as well. Check them out. I will just say about this week's or last week's NWA Power. I didn't quite understand the ending to the heavyweight championship match. However, I can understand a little bit the move for EC3. I can understand that. The tag team match with Murnox, that was pretty entertaining. It's pretty entertaining. It was pretty entertaining. Made me laugh up until one particular portion of the match, which made absolutely no sense. It is something that Jim Cornette talks about all the time with the high-flying luchadors and those standing outside of the ring. Leave it at that, right? But it was entertaining. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Regardless of what I say, good or bad, I'm always going to say, at least go check it out. Just don't ask me to explain it to you. There's some things that happen I can't explain to you. You can ask the NWA yourself directly. And before I end this recording, this first episode of Alliance Late Night, which is not really that late. It's 8:48, but I feel like it's midnight after watching 3 hours of the kickoff of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. I'm tired. That was a lot to process, really, but it was fantastic. But I want to say rest in peace to Jax Dane and prayers out to his family. Never in my life has a passing of a professional wrestler moved me the way that this one did. And I can't pinpoint exactly why. Perhaps I feel like the NWA product is a little bit more family. Again, whether we like the not the product, but whether or not we like the presentation week in and week out, we still all sit down to watch it, right? So it's almost like a family connection. Even I don't know Jack's name. I've never met any of the athletes who wrestle in the NWA, but to know his position in the transitions of the NWA, what he was there for, the ups and the very, very lows. He carried that place. I felt like he was the Undertaker of the NWA. And I don't mean by character. What I mean by that is by his long-standing position, by his veteran status, by his accomplishments, and who he accomplished those things with. He was a bridge between the old and the new. He was a bridge between the blurred time of the NWA for many of us, because many of us didn't know what was going on with the NWA for quite some time. He was there, just like Tim Storm was there. These are mainstays, right? So in that regard, the NWA was his yard. And it was really, really emotional. It was emotional for everybody. Everybody that I discuss wrestling with on a regular basis, we're all touched by his passing. So rest in peace to Jack Stain. 2025, and for me, all year long is the Dane event. I hope that the athletes in all the territories of the NWA recharge. I hope that they take the loss and turn it into greatness. That's all I have to say for now. And that thing in the back over there, sitting on the counter, I'll talk about that in the next episode. Thanks for checking me out. I'm Rosville. I'm gone.